I am truly grateful to everyone who supported me, allowing me to stand at the starting line of my Major League Baseball career. After considering offers from numerous teams, Ohtani ultimately made the decision to join the Los Angeles Angels. With this choice, his long-awaited journey in Major League Baseball finally begins. Heading to the batter's box for my first at-bat, I thought it would probably be one of those unforgettable moments in my life. I knew it would feel incredibly special. March 29, 2018, a historic day when Shohei Ohtani took his first step into Major League Baseball as a two-way player, something not seen since Babe Ruth nearly a century ago. Batting 8th as a designated hitter in the season opener against the Oakland Athletics, Ohtani stepped into the batter's box for the first time in the second inning. With 2 outs and a runner on first, he swung at the very first pitch, a sinker on the inside, and lined it into right field for a base hit. A first pitch hit in his first Major League at-bat. The focus and emotion Ohtani brought to that moment were immense. To swing at the first pitch in such a high-pressure situation, and to make solid contact with a tough, low inside pitch is no easy feat. Many were skeptical in both the US and Japan about whether he could really succeed as a two-way player in MLB. Adapting to a new environment and peaking just in time for opening day was a monumental challenge. And leading up to the season opener, Ohtani was actually in a serious slump. The struggles of spring training. Ohtani pitched twice in spring training, but with short outings and a disastrous 27 ERA. As a hitter, he appeared in 11 games as a designated hitter, but batted only .125 with no home runs or extra base hits. He couldn't adjust to either role. As a pitcher, he struggled to get used to MLB's slicker baseballs as opposed to the Mizuno brand baseballs he was accustomed to using in Japan, which made it difficult to control his breaking pitches. Even his signature fastball was getting hit hard. MLB hitters weren't fazed by its speed. At the plate, he had trouble adjusting to the unique pitching motions and movement of MLB pitchers. He was jammed often and found it difficult to get hits. One local sports paper even harshly wrote, "Ohtani's hitting is high school level." To respond to these struggles, Ohtani tried a number of changes. He adopted a no-stride batting stance, and as a pitcher, he constantly held the baseball to get used to its feel. Those efforts would soon pay off, launching a spectacular debut. Seeking advice from Ichiro. As criticisms of the two-way experiment intensified, Ohtani had a rare opportunity to speak with a legendary figure, Ichiro Suzuki, holder of the MLB single-season hits record. Ohtani usually doesn't seek advice, preferring to work things out on his own. But during this difficult time, he felt the need for guidance from someone he respected. He reached out to Ichiro, who kindly agreed. Though they originally planned to talk over video call, Ohtani felt it would be disrespectful and visited Ichiro at his home, bat in hand. Regarding that time, Ohtani said the following: "I had watched Ichiro-san since I was a child, and he was a player I admired. The idea of talking to someone like Ichiro-san felt like something I shouldn't even think about. I wasn't sure if someone like me, at my level, should even consider asking for advice." His humble words, "someone like me," really reflect Ohtani's personality. There, Ichiro gave him a piece of unforgettable advice. "You should believe more in your talent, in what you've done, in your potential." Looking back, Ohtani later said, "That was exactly what I needed to hear. It helped me turn things around." Battling fear and doubt after struggling on both sides of the ball, those words from a legend helped Ohtani rediscover his path. Pitching debut. After the season opener on April 1st, Ohtani took the mound for his first official start as a pitcher. He threw a blazing 99.4 mile-per-hour fastball, allowed 3 runs over 6 innings, and earned his first win. While his fastball was impressive, it was his splitter which consistently fooled batters and induced swing and misses that became his winning pitch for the day. Moreover, in subsequent games, his splitter continued to dominate, striking out many of Major League Baseball's prominent hitters. Local media outlets praised his performance, calling it a devilish splitter and applauding Ohtani's debut. At this point, he was still regarded as a promising rookie, but from here, the perception of him would rapidly change. 3 home runs in 3 straight games. After a strong debut, Ohtani made headlines with home runs in 3 consecutive games, April 3rd, 4th, and 6th. For these performances, Ohtani was named American League Player of the Week. Most Japanese players need a full season to adjust to Major League Baseball, often struggling with the movement of pitches and the higher level of play, even stars like Hideki Matsui. Ohtani's rapid adaptation was extraordinary. April 2018, American League Rookie of the Month. Ohtani's stats in April were impressive on both sides of the game. As a pitcher, he made 4 starts, securing 2 wins and 1 loss, with a total of 20.1 innings pitched, allowing 10 earned runs, striking out 26 batters, and posting a 4.43 ERA. As a hitter, he had a .358 batting average, with 4 home runs, 12 RBIs, 1 double, and 1 triple. He was named American League Rookie of the Month. As in Japan, Ohtani silenced early criticisms with his results, and gained huge respect across the MLB. But a major trial awaited. UCL injury. On June 6th, in the start against the Royals, Ohtani was pulled in the 4th inning. The team initially blamed a blister, but further tests revealed a sprain of the ulnar collateral ligament in his right elbow. Interpreter Ippei Mizuhara later recalled, when the doctors first told him the diagnosis, he seemed unable to accept it. He was in shock, completely silent on the ride home. He shut himself in for a week, didn't rehab or train. It was like a mild depression. Up to that point, Ohtani had a 4-1 record and a 3.1 ERA as a pitcher. He returned a month later as a hitter, and despite the setback, he ended the season strong with a .310 average in the second half and 22 home runs, breaking Hideki Matsui's rookie record for the Japanese hitters. But his elbow would not heal so easily. Fastball drops to 89 miles per hour. On September 2nd, Ohtani made a surprise return to the mound against the Astros. His fastball still touched 99 miles per hour in the first 2 innings, but in the third, his velocity dropped sharply into the high 80s. Something was clearly wrong. He gave up a 2-run homer to George Springer and was pulled after 2.2 innings. An MRI confirmed further damage to his UCL. If I just wanted to pitch okay, throwing 92 to 93 mile per hour fastballs and 80 mile per hour sliders, maybe I could. But when I asked myself if that would be fun, the answer was no. Ohtani decided to undergo Tommy John surgery and focus solely on hitting in 2019. American League Rookie of the Year. Ohtani's final stats for the 2018 seasons were as follows. On the pitching side, he made 10 appearances with a 4-2 record and a 3.31 ERA. As a hitter, he played in 104 games, hitting 22 home runs with a .285 batting average. He was named the American League Rookie of the Year. The official MLB site reflected, "We saw the highlights, we saw the numbers. We saw seemingly every MLB team fall over itself to try to sign him. And even still, it was hard to wrap our heads around. Sure, he can pitch and he can hit, but no one can just stroll into the big leagues and make that work, right? These guys aren't just once in a generation, they're once in a lifetime." Then the games began, and we realized Shohei Ohtani is real and he's spectacular. Ohtani began his major league career from seemingly impossible heights and never really came back down. He somehow put up a 3.31 ERA in 10 starts and posted a .925 OPS. And while he won't be on the mound in 2019, we're going to enjoy watching him for a long, long time. The most important thing is to not believe something is impossible. Once you think that, it's over. While many in Japan had doubts, wondering if a two-way player could truly succeed in MLB, Ohtani never stopped believing in himself and proved it to the world with results. Chapter 12, 2019. Shohei Ohtani's second MLB season. Trials and tribulations. I don't want to just return to who I was. I want to evolve and come back even better. Due to the Tommy John surgery he underwent in the 2018 offseason, Shohei Ohtani faced significant restrictions in his training. That included his batting. He wasn't even allowed to swing a bat until right before spring training began. Even so, Ohtani remained undeterred. He focused on what he could do, committing himself to strengthening his core and spending countless hours in the training room watching machine-pitched balls from the batter's box to sharpen his eye. He tried everything he could to improve. Finally, in May 2019, over a month after the season had started, Ohtani made his long-awaited return. Early on, his performance was uneven due to the lack of time for spring training or minor league tune-ups. But as he got more reps in actual games, he gradually found his rhythm. In June alone, he hit 9 home runs, and by the All-Star break, he was batting .303 with 14 homers. An incredible first half as a hitter-only player. It's not about whether you can or can't do it. It all comes down to yourself. True to his words, his outstanding first half performance was the result of perseverance and daily effort during months of limited training following surgery. After returning from Tommy John surgery and producing solid results, Ohtani seemed to be back on track. But in the second half of the season, another setback awaited. A sudden slump and new injury. As the second half began, Ohtani's power numbers dropped sharply. He hit just 3 home runs in July, 1 in August, and 2 in September. Analysts and commentators debated the cause, citing everything from changes in his swing angle to the possibility that opposing teams had figured him out. But on September 13th, the truth came out. Season over. Left knee injury and surgery announced. Ohtani had actually been sensing something off in his swing even during the hot streak earlier in the season. Even though the balls went out as home runs, I never really felt like things were clicking, Ohtani said, reflecting on that time. Former Nippon Ham Fighters manager Hideki Kuriyama, who coached Ohtani in Japan, later shared that Ohtani had long dealt with discomfort in his left knee. He's always been aware of it. Sometimes it would hurt depending on the situation. He even mentioned it when he came back last year. In a way, it was just a matter of time. That's Shohei for you. With his elbow issue too. He just wants to be able to play baseball at full strength. Ohtani himself admitted that he experienced pain during running and swinging, but was quick to add, "That's not an excuse for my slump." Still, for a left-handed batter like Ohtani, the left knee plays a crucial role in weight transfer and swing mechanics. Any instability there could very well have disrupted his timing and power. As a result, Ohtani's final numbers for the season were a .286 batting average, 18 home runs, and 62 RBIs, slightly underwhelming compared to his rookie year. Thus, Ohtani's 2019 season came to an unexpected and frustrating close. Chapter 13, 2020, Shohei Ohtani's third MLB season, a severe slump, and the crisis of ending his two-way career. The coronavirus pandemic. In 2020, the world was struck by an unknown threat, COVID-19. Major League Baseball was no exception. The season's start was postponed until late July, and the league shortened the schedule to just 60 games, over 100 fewer than normal. Amid all this, Shohei Ohtani was aiming for a return as a two-way player, back on the mound after Tommy John surgery and in the batter's box after knee surgery. Since his planned return was always scheduled for late July, the pandemic-delayed season actually worked in his favor, giving him the chance to open the season as a two-way player. But once again, the baseball gods tested Ohtani. The worst year ever, Time Magazine. Just as Time Magazine called 2020 the worst year ever, for Ohtani too, it became a nightmare season. On July 26th, in a game against the Oakland Athletics, he made his first pitching appearance in 693 days, since September 2nd, 2018. But it was a disaster. He couldn't record a single out, allowing 3 hits, 3 walks, and 5 earned runs before being pulled in the first inning. He was charged with the loss. In his next start on August 2nd against the Houston Astros, he initially looked promising. His fastball touched 97 miles per hour, and he struck out the leadoff hitter, retiring the side in order in the first inning. But then, in the second inning, the nightmare returned. Suddenly, his fastball velocity dropped to 87 miles per hour, and his command vanished. He walked 5 batters and allowed 2 runs as a result of bases-loaded walks, and was removed mid-inning. For fans who had waited nearly 2 years to see him pitch again, it was a heartbreaking performance. A post-game MRI revealed a new issue with his right elbow. Doctors recommended 4 to 6 weeks of rest from throwing. Just like that, Ohtani's season as a pitcher was over after only 2 starts, his shortest and worst campaign to date. A hitting slump too. Ohtani's struggles on the mound seemed to carry over to the plate. His performance as a hitter also took a nosedive. As the team entered the final stretch, fighting for a playoff spot, Ohtani was often left out of the starting lineup in favor of hotter bats. His final stats for the season were significantly lower, with a batting average of 190, 7 home runs, and 24 RBIs. Even in the shortened season, it was by far the worst year of his career. Doubts about the two-way dream. Criticism came swiftly from media and baseball analysts alike, many questioning whether Ohtani's two-way experiment had run its course. It remains to be seen whether Shohei Ohtani can recover his form on the mound and regain his reputation as a two-way star, the score. It's still worth trying, but if it fails again, his career as a pitcher could be over. The Athletic. Despite the doubts swirling him, Ohtani remained unfazed. It's really simple. If I can't pitch or hit, then I'll just retire. If I can't hit, I'll quit. If I can't pitch, I'll quit. If I can do both, then I'll keep going. It's about what makes the most sense for me and the team. That statement felt like more than defiance. It was a declaration of resolve. He knew 2021 would be a make or break season. The Angels still had Albert Pujols and Mike Trout, both of whom were showing signs of age and injuries. If Ohtani continued to occupy the designated hitter spot while underperforming, it limited the team's ability to rest those stars. More than anything, Ohtani understood that if he didn't produce results in 2021 as a two-way player, it might not mean retirement, but the end of his two-way journey would be inevitable. And so, Ohtani's short, painful 2020 season, filled with injuries, doubt, and criticism, came to a close. At that time, not a single person could have imagined the historic season he was about to have in 2021. Chapter 14, 2021. Shohei Ohtani's 4th MLB season. The awakening of Ohtani the hitter. In 2021, Shohei Ohtani delivered a truly phenomenal season. One could even say that Ohtani was the highlight of the entire year for Japan. His health was finally in top form. It had been 2.5 years since Tommy John surgery and 1.5 years since his knee surgery. For the first time, Ohtani entered the season with a body fully capable of enduring the grind of a full MLB schedule. Ohtani the hitter awakened. On April 27th, in a game against the Texas Rangers, Ohtani tied for the league lead in home runs with his 7th of the season, just a few weeks after opening day. The league's home run leader also starting on the mound as a pitcher? That hadn't happened since Babe Ruth over 100 years ago. He would go on to hit 8 home runs in April and followed that up with another 7 in May, establishing himself as the frontrunner in the American League home run race. Then came June, and Ohtani exploded. He hit 13 home runs in June alone. That accounted for 52% of his 25 total hits that month, a jaw-dropping power rate. On July 4th, he tied Hideki Matsui's single-season record for the most home runs by a Japanese player in MLB with 31. Just 3 days later, on July 7th, he blasted his 32nd, breaking Matsui's record before the All-Star break. By the halfway point of the season, Ohtani had posted staggering numbers with a batting average of .279, 33 home runs, 70 RBIs, and 12 stolen bases. It was so incredible, it made the struggles of 2020 seem like a distant dream. Hideki Matsui's message. After Ohtani broke his record, Hideki Matsui issued a heartfelt statement. "I'm simply in awe of Ohtani's unbelievable pace. His natural talent, combined with his relentless curiosity and dedication to training, has turned him into one of MLB's premier power hitters. When I played for the Yankees, I was surrounded by sluggers like Jason Giambi, Gary Sheffield, and Alex Rodriguez. Their power was overwhelming, and I honestly felt it would be impossible to become that kind of hitter myself. But now, Ohtani is absolutely on that level. Fans who once hoped I would become a true power hitter in MLB may have been disappointed in what I achieved. But now, seeing what Ohtani is doing, I imagine they finally feel fulfilled. And he's not just a great hitter, he's a phenomenal pitcher too. He's rewriting the very conventions of baseball history. I believe even more fans and young players will be inspired by him moving forward. As one of those fans, I look forward to seeing him continue to chase his dreams and carry the hopes of so many others. Hideki Matsui. In response, Ohtani said, "I've been watching him since I was a kid, so it's an honor. I'm honestly just happy he took the time to make a comment. I want to keep doing my best so I can live up to that praise." Many Japanese players before Ohtani, including Matsui, had taken on the challenge of MLB, sometimes succeeding, sometimes not. Fans and critics alike would say things like, "You're not cut out for the majors." But all of those challenges, successes, and failures laid the groundwork for Ohtani's journey. In that, there is something deeply romantic and beautiful. Despite pitchers becoming more cautious with him in the second half of the season, including frequent intentional walks, Ohtani continued to hit at an elite level. By the end of the season, his statistics were impressive. A batting average of .257, 46 home runs, 100 RBIs, and 26 stolen bases. He fell just one home run shy of the league lead, but still delivered an overwhelming performance as a hitter, all while being a full-time pitcher. Two-way All-Star. Ohtani's historic first half earned him a once unthinkable honor, selection to the MLB All-Star Game, as both a hitter and a pitcher, voted in by the fans for both roles. This was the first time in MLB history a player was chosen for both sides of the game. To accommodate Ohtani, MLB even changed the All-Star Game rules, allowing a starting designated hitter to also pitch in the game. A player from Japan had changed MLB's rules. On July 12th, Ohtani started the All-Star Game as the leadoff hitter and starting pitcher. He went 0 for 2 at the plate, but on the mound, he threw a perfect 1-2-3 inning, topping out at 100 miles per hour, and etched his name into All-Star history. National League MVP Freddie Freeman, speaking after the game, said, "What Shohei is doing, it's not something anyone else can just go out and do, but at the very least, he's opened the door to the possibility of two-way players." Freeman, who once threw 96 miles per hour as a high school pitcher before focusing on hitting, deeply understood the significance of Ohtani's achievements. Ohtani responded, "Back in Japan, it was all just negativity, but Freeman is one of the very best in the game today." Just the fact that someone like him would say something like that, it really means a lot. It's inspiring. This All-Star Game became a turning point, a moment when Ohtani changed MLB history. Unanimous MVP. In 2021, Ohtani didn't just shine as a hitter, he delivered ace-level pitching all season long. He finished with a remarkable 9 wins and just 2 losses, posting an earned run average of 3.18. Additionally, he struck out 156 batters, showcasing his dominance on the mound. He maintained a consistent rotation spot for the Angels, fulfilling the long-awaited vision of a full-time two-way player across a full season. For his historic season, Ohtani was named American League MVP, becoming the first Japanese player to win since Ichiro in 2001, and the first in 20 years. He won the award unanimously, despite stiff competition, underscoring how deeply respected and celebrated his two-way success had become. What MLB legends had to say. His talent is historic. All the all-star players who watched his batting practice were completely speechless. On the mound, he's like Jacob deGrom. At the plate, he's like David Ortiz. And he's also the fastest player on the team. We've never seen anything like him. Alex Rodriguez. I've played in MLB for a long time, and I know how demanding the routines are, separately, for pitchers and hitters. Ohtani does both at once. This is likely a once-in-a-lifetime talent. David Ortiz. Chapter 15, 2022, Shohei Ohtani's 5th MLB season. The awakening of Ohtani the pitcher. In the previous year, Ohtani had delivered an outstanding performance. Many believed that surpassing his 2021 season would be an impossible feat, yet Ohtani once again defied expectations. Ohtani continued to evolve as a two-way player in the 2022 season. But this year marked a significant breakthrough as a pitcher. In 2021, he fell just short of 10 wins, finishing with 9. However, in 2022, he secured 9 wins in the first half of the season alone. While he struggled with control in April, he quickly stabilized, increasing his average fastball velocity to 96.93 miles per hour, 1.24 miles per hour faster than in 2021. Most notably, his slider became his most devastating pitch. Previously, Ohtani relied on his blazing fastball and splitter to rack up strikeouts. However, with the addition of an elite slider, he expanded his pitching repertoire. Before 2022, if his splitter wasn't effective, he often struggled to maintain his dominance. But this season, even when his splitter wasn't sharp, he could rely on his slider to control the game. Because Ohtani constantly adapted his pitching style from game to game, opposing hitters found it nearly impossible to anticipate his approach. By the end of the season, his pitching stats were phenomenal. 15 wins and 9 losses at a 2.33 ERA and 219 strikeouts. He was no longer just the ace of the Angels. He had become one of the premier pitchers in all of baseball. The birth of the magic two-seam fastball. During the 2022 season, Ohtani added yet another weapon to his arsenal. While he was excelling as a pitcher, the Angels were struggling. The team suffered a franchise-worst 14-game losing streak early in the season, often relying on Ohtani's starts to break their losing streaks. One of the main issues was the bullpen's instability. Despite acquiring relievers like Ryan Tepera and Aaron Loop in the offseason, they underperformed dramatically, often giving up critical runs late in games. Understanding that handing the game over to the bullpen was risky, Ohtani realized he needed to pitch deeper into games. This led him to develop a two-seam fastball. Unlike his four-seam fastball, which stayed straight and was used for strikeouts, the two-seamer moved sharply down and to the right at the same velocity as his regular fastball. This allowed him to induce more ground balls and reduce his pitch count, enabling him to stay on the mound longer. By the second half of the season, Ohtani was effectively using the two-seamer to keep hitters off balance, pitching deeper into games while still striking batters out when needed. His interpreter, Ippei Mizuhara, provided some insight. He picked it up like it was a video game. His teammates were stunned, saying he just started throwing it and it's already that good? It's not fair. Once again, Ohtani's incredible potential exceeded everyone's imagination. 2 home runs, 8 RBIs, and 13 strikeouts. While Ohtani's offensive numbers in 2022 didn't quite match the explosive levels of his MVP-winning 2021 season, they were still impressive and demonstrated his all-around value at the plate. He posted a .273 batting average, hit 34 home runs, drove in 95 runs, and stole 11 bases. Though his home run total slightly declined, his improved batting average reflected his growing consistency, particularly in clutch situations. Among his many memorable performances, the back-to-back games on June 22nd and 23rd stood out. On June 22nd, as a hitter, Ohtani smashed 2 home runs, including a game-tying 3-run shot, while driving in 8 runs. The very next day, on June 23rd, he took the mound and dominated, throwing 8 shutout innings with a career-high 13 strikeouts. A day after driving in 8 runs, he struck out 13 batters. This was a historic achievement that few, if any, players will ever replicate. Even New York's notoriously critical sports media couldn't help but praise him. One of the most dominant performances in baseball history, truly worthy of admiration. By the end of 2022, Ohtani had surpassed Babe Ruth's 1918 record of 13 wins and 11 home runs as a two-way player, becoming the first player in 104 years to achieve such a feat. The MVP battle with Aaron Judge. In the first half of the season, Ohtani seemed poised to repeat as MVP. However, Yankees slugger Aaron Judge went on a historic home run spree, ultimately breaking the American League record with 62 home runs. The MVP debate divided opinions. Should it go to Ohtani, who excelled in both pitching and hitting? or to Judge, who set a new home run record. In the end, Judge's historic achievement earned him the MVP title. Thus, Ohtani's 2022 season came to a close. After his breakout as a hitter in 2021 and his dominance as a pitcher in 2022, the world eagerly awaited what he would accomplish in 2023, a season that began with the global spotlight on Ohtani at the World Baseball Classic.